Before you start a painting, think about the design of your value shapes or value masses. That's what carries your painting. It's the foundation, the bones, the platform. And then you use color to enhance it. Here are 4 examples, and in each, you see how the black and white version is carrying the painting. Color then supports, enhances, or enriches that foundation. You might want color to be the platform, but you know that expression, color gets all the attention, but value does all the work. This is Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. So today I'm going to show you how I painted this image, a photo I took of my wife, the painter Anne Ward, on a trip to France last year. Here's the drawing I did of it shortly getting back from France. I cropped it to a square, Anne over on the left-hand side. But about a month ago, I decided I wanted to paint it, and I wanted to feature Anne more. I didn't want her sort of smaller on the left-hand side, so I put her in the middle. Here's the image in black and white, simplified in Procreate, so you sort of see the big masses. And I would say the main structural design of it is a horizontal that sort of runs, I don't know, the eye level at the top back of the road, the vertical that runs through those shadows, and the figure with the center of interest at the intersection right where the hat is and the arch. But I thought the big diagonals of the shadow shapes running across the road and up there across the 2 roofs were dynamic enough that they would counterbalance the sort of underlying staticness of that horizontal and vertical leading to the center of interest. So I thought it was going to work, interplaying those diagonals with the more static structure. This is a 20 by 20 inch canvas in oil paint. And you'll see that I'm mixing ultramarine blue and yellow ochre and some cad orange, just creating a kind of mid-gray. This is going to be the big shadow shapes of the side wall and the road. So you'll see that I vary them a little bit, one to the next, whether it's sidewalk, pavement on the road or the side wall, but they're all sort of grayish, darker shadow colors. And then the buildings behind have white paint or cream colored paint, and they're in shadow. So I want a cleaner, bluer color, because the whole thing is in shadow, for those buildings back there, because the light will really pop on those. So I'm putting in all the shadow shapes first. There's the shadow shape of the trees back on the far side of that archway. And then there's the curb, a little bit lighter stone, just sort of put it in. But I'm just blocking the colors in. This is for the big bush on the right-hand side. I'm just making like an educated guess for each shape as we go, shape by shape by shape. There's the structure there, and I'm just going shape by shape and getting, like this is the shadow side of that same bush that I just painted in. You can see it's quite a bit darker. And I'll just have a little bit of turpentine in there, but Gamsol actually. But you just see I sort of put the shadow color underneath there, and that'll function for now. And there's sort of that dark line just along the curb. But in each case, I'm just, okay, that's a good guess, but I'm just painting it shape by shape. And you see the painting just sort of comes together. Although now this is coming to the figure in the shadow side of the denim jacket, quite a dark blue. This is the shadow side of the dress, quite a bit lighter, but again, keeping it cool. And you'll see, once I start putting the lit side in, then you'll see how all these things pop. But I'm just sort of creating, since I'm painting the shadows, one next to the next to the next, sort of building it up. This will be the shadow side of the flesh, of just sort of the hand there and part of the leg that's in shadow and the face, which is pretty much in shadow. Just sort of a warm, that'll be good enough for now, and a real dark. You can see how dark it is underneath the hat there. That really pulls our attention, particularly up against the arch behind it. And then, more on the hat. But you can just see, I'm just getting, now, I've cleaned the palette. See, there's completely clean. Now I'm going to the sunlit side. So this is like a best guess for the first shape in sunlight. You can see the couple of yellows, some yellow ochre, dull it down a little bit with some, with the complement of the blue, some orange. And there's sort of first guess for the first color, for the sunlit side. You see how warm that is. And then each one of those buildings, you'll see that I just get it a little bit lighter and a little bit cleaner so that by the time we get to that back arch, we've got a really clean sense of color and pop to bring our attention. And then it's grayed out a little bit when it becomes part of the pavement. But you can see how warm it is in the photograph, right? This is that cleaner color where I had a paler, cleaner blue. It's also a cleaner sunlit part as well. But you can just see that each one is a shape, right? And I'm really, really pulling apart the warm and the cool. Put in all the shadows, dark and cool, and now I'm putting in all the light. And you can just see, I mean, every single one of them is just a shape. And the two main considerations is getting the value right and keeping the temperature warm and cool apart in those value shifts so you really get the sense of sunlight. And here I'm mixing the first color of sunlit foliage that we're seeing way back there through the arch where the sun is hitting it. And then now I'm going for the sunlit side of the denim jacket. You can see it's white and yellow, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre and blue, but it still has to be cool because it's blue, but it's much warmer than the dark side, the shadow side. And then this is the dress color in light. And you can see the difference there and the way the two of them, again, in terms of warm and cool, light and dark, work to give us that sense of sunlight hitting the dress. And then this is the first bit of flesh on the legs and the hand and the face. But I'm just sort of getting this is just enough to sort of give us the sunlit side of it. You can see that I've put the other shadow side in. There's a darker, I have to push it darker for the shadow side. It wasn't enough. Then bring the leg up. And you see how close in value the street is to the sunlit side of the flesh, but it's just working those things through and getting that really good dark under the hat, because right up there, that sort of pop of the hat against that little piece of arch behind it is really the center of interest in a way, that contrast right there. And there's the warm orange of the sunlit tiles. And there's the finished block in. That took about 50 minutes. I used some Gamsol mineral spirits, and you can see that the paint's quite thin. You can sort of see the canvas popping through all over the place. So everything seems to be working. I just want to clean it up, get thicker paint on there, modulate the colors a little bit. But you can see that the big shapes of light and dark, what I had in mind, just shape by shape by shape, is coming across already. I'm not going to make any major changes to this. I'm just going to get the paint thicker and modulate the color a little bit. So there's no thinner now, no Gamsol, no mineral spirits. The paint is thicker, and you can see everything is just, the paint's thicker and going on cleaner and richer. You see that sort of pushing the blue more than I had before. The temperature shift is a little cleaner there. I want the shadow of those trees back in there darker to sort of grip our attention so it's not so soft. Gives us a good sense of dark. I want to clean up that shape. See, I've got a graying it out more. Well, it's not, so it's bluer, right? So it's got more temperature shift to it. And then there was a wall. I think sort of made this up actually, because all those buildings, it's a little bit odd, the angles of the buildings and how they disappear back in there. And there's the line of sort of grasses that are growing out of the edge of the wall, just flicked. And there's the beautiful sunlit pieces up there at the top. And I felt because of those, it just needed a hit of more light way back there in the distance, and then cleaning up all the shapes really in the figure. The rest of this is really on the figure, sort of getting the feet in and making sure that it, works as a figure standing in space. Getting the underside of the hat dark enough and the shape right, and then just making sure, like in the case of the face, there's hardly anything going on in the face, there's no features at all, just a little hint of light on one side of a shadow shape. And there's the finished painting. You can see the color's cleaner from having brought the more paint in there. But again, just shape by shape by shape. And here it is in black and white. So you see that, that's what's carrying it. Exactly like I said at the beginning. You design it using values, and then you enhance it using color. And there's the two side by side, the block in, which I said took about 50 minutes. I let it dry for a day or two. and then finishing the painting took about another 2 hours. I really like it. Now, I'm partial in a way because it's my wife and a memory from a wonderful trip, but there is the finished painting. I do hope, as always, you found that helpful. If you want to hear more about the role composition is playing in your paintings, go to ianroberts.com to get my free video, 4 Foundational Principles to Dramatically Improve Your Paintings. So until next month, then, my very best wishes to you. And until then, may your creative and artistic spirit run strong and free. All the best, and bye for now.